Premier League betting edge.
This is simply stunning. Oh, it's another classic. Oh, yes. Top quality. Man of the moment. On the biggest stage, he is the master performer. Oh, indeed.
All right, welcome to Premier League Betting Edge. It's match week 6, and joining me from the beautiful state of Colorado, lead handicapper for EPL for Clear Data Sports, and just a general good guy all around, Mr. Riley Wickman. Riley, how's it going up there?
Not too bad. It was a pretty good week. Unfortunately, our weekend last weekend wasn't exactly ideal, but looking to bounce back and hopefully get another winning weekend here. Make it 3 out of 4, 3 of the last 4 here.
Yeah, I think there was a couple particularly bitter outcomes. The Watford game on Sunday, particularly, which we had on the podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
And guy missed a pretty great opportunity in the 83rd minute, I think. And I think not only did I wake up the house, I think I woke up the whole neighborhood in watching that play. So that was an exciting comeback, and they just couldn't quite finish it off, Riley.
Yeah, and I mean, expected goals, like I said, were happen to be in our favor, but just not the final result. So happens a few times throughout the season. Unfortunately, it's been more times than not this season. But yeah, we'll eventually regress back to the mean, and they'll be hitting those types of plays. But we got some.
Well, you know what? You make a good point, and you know what I've learned in my 85 years of handicapping sports, that the breaks, you remember the ones that kind of sting. You don't remember the ones that you got. And it's interesting how they even out over the long haul. So, Hey, we're due for some good karma. So let's get into it. Let's get into this match week 6. We're going to talk about the Southampton Bournemouth game. And Southampton is a darling of Clear Data Sports so far this year. And are we going to stick with that stance in this game, Riley?
We are going to stick with that stance. And last season, of course, Bournemouth were one of our darlings, but this season their numbers have regressed for sure. And the first thing I do want to point out is defensively, West Ham had actually been, as you can see here, that's going to be part of our second play here, but West Ham had been the worst defense in the league by far up until about this point. But now Bournemouth has met them and has equalized that 131 rating. So 31% worse than average in defense. And away from home, we really like that because that means Southampton being at home can really pile on the pressure, especially if they either even go down early or, Bournemouth, continuously keeps the game close. Southampton always is capable of putting this game away, putting up 2-3 goals, especially in this one. And actually that's why it doesn't really seem like a game where the goal total will be that high. But I do have this goal total really high at 3.65 total projected goals and 2.39 for Southampton alone. But we are not going to go with the total in this one. We are going to go with the Southampton money line at plus 106, risking 0.94 units to win one at 14% edge. I think it's a great play considering the underlying numbers. And looking at the rating so far this season, like I brought up before, Southampton has played a 9% harder than average schedule so far, which is interesting for them because they played fairly well. And they've gotten decent results so far, but I think they can, hit that next level once they start playing a little bit easier teams compared to the likes of like Liverpool and City, who have played 8% worse than average schedules. So pretty big discrepancy there. And so 17% overall, which is pretty huge. Basically Southampton has played a tough schedule so far. They've been playing well. Metrics looking nice. And of course we adjust for that now. Overall, they're sitting 7th overall in the rankings here, and Bournemouth all the way down to 16th. So worrying for them, but I think that defense is really what we want to target in this one. And also another thing to bring up too is their manager, Southampton's manager, Ralph Hasenhuttl, is shooting up the manager rankings overall at 7th right now, but closing in on Roy Hodgson. So he is getting that ELO rating up this season, which is good to see because it's sort of backing up my statements made in the preseason about how quality of a manager he is. And it's good to see that kind of paying off within the model as well.
Yeah, you had some good comments to make in addition to being able to pronounce his name correctly too, which I think that's very impressive as well.
Yeah. He's a pretty tactically adept manager. So if you're into tactics, stuff like that, definitely worth watching his his team because he is very flexible and progressive in that fashion. But yeah, overall, we like the Southampton money line at home too. A great opportunity for them to get a full 3 points here.
Well, nicely presented, Riley. And now we're gonna skip down to the West Ham ManU game, and we had some success with ManU playing the under last week, but now they go into West Ham. Riley, what you got up your sleeve for this game?
Yeah, if you guys remember, I mentioned it would have been a few weeks ago now that United have actually been surprisingly well when looking at the underlying metrics here. They've been very, very decent this season, better than I expected for sure, considering the manager quality. And the results haven't been there, though. So it's kind of a flip-flop of last season where they were getting great results over like a 10 to 15 game span. I think they were undefeated or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But they're getting great results, but the underlying metrics weren't really backing them up. Well, now it's flip-flopped. Results haven't been amazing, but their metrics have been very, very solid. And that's why I like this United play, which is going to be a money line at plus 113, risking 0.88 units to win one at 6.3% edge. I think it's a great play here away from home. West Ham, like I said just prior, has had the worst quantifiable defense in the league so far, in terms of our numbers anyways. They've had the worst defense up to this point. And I think looking at their ratings as well, United's schedule hasn't even been that great, which is it's a little perplexing because sure, their numbers have been there, the results haven't, but they haven't actually played that tough of a schedule yet either. So pretty interesting to see how they progress from here. But they are the third overall ranked team in the league right now, which, I mean, preseason, I remember I was expecting them to be down closer to that 6th through 8th range. So very impressive from them so far, and I think we can take advantage of that for sure here. So we got 6% edge on this money line. And then looking at West Ham, who has been toward the bottom pretty much the entirety of the year. Like I said, the worst defense in the league so far. And player quality too, they have some quality attackers, but just like I said, and actually manager quality, if you look at this too, Pellegrini is actually rated, West Ham's manager is rated a lot higher than United's. But just overall, tactical system hasn't been there. And United has actually benefited from more of what I've seen is a collective team effort. Missing Martial, Rashford has played very well, and we'll talk about him in a little bit too. But I think he has the potential to have a great season going forward and sort of carry this team attackingly because he is a very dynamic player and he has the potential to be a very high volume attacking player. So yeah, certainly look for Rashford in this game, but United overall, much more quality team. They have a great defense, which is also very surprising because in past years that has been their weakness where De Gea has been, kind of had to hold the defense on his shoulders and kind of carry them. Where this season, like I mentioned, the past week 2 in the Leicester match, defense has been very quality, surprisingly good.
Yeah, well, now there's no heart involved in that, right? You're last I checked, you're a big Man United fan, huh?
Yeah, I was for the longest time, and I went to a game actually last December. So it is kind of satisfying to be able to play on them because it'll be fun to be able to want them to win for a little bit here. But I
think it is, because we usually play against them.
Yeah, last season we were playing against them a ton, and they were one of my favorite teams to fade. And I even mentioned earlier this season that we were going to look for that as well. But like I said, the metrics are showing something different. But that's what's great about the model is that it's quick to adjust. It's very fluid. So once we see teams starting to overperform / underperform, we can make those adjustments right away, and we're not going to be biased based off of previous statements made by me or whoever. Based on intuition, it's going to be we're always going to be fluid here, and the model is likewise as well.
Exactly. That's what we effort to do here at Clear Data Sports. So let's talk about the 3-headed parlay. I know you guys can hardly wait for this. It's time hit. You know what? We're due to hit one, Riley. So here's the parlay. It's Rashford to score. It's Man United to win, and it's to go over 2.5. We have it priced from a model standpoint. There's no correlation, just as a straight events at 19% to occur. You can get it at 5-1, which is roughly just a little bit over 16%. So good value there, not to mention the correlative value that you have playing these. So talk about Rashford. What's his probability to score straight up?
Yeah, I'm going to pull that up right now for you, actually. This season, he's been averaging nearly 4 shots a game, which is always nice to see. He does have the highest projected goal scoring percentage of the team going into this one. But him and Daniel James have pretty much been getting the bulk of the attacking load this season. So coming up against the worst defense in the league, it's always a decent bet to look for situations like this where, you have a much stronger team going up against a much weaker defensive team, and going for those stronger teams' highest volume attacking players like Rashford or even Daniel James in this one too. But his percentage comes out to be 56.9% for an anytime goal score, and that's just scoring one goal at any time in the game, no matter what sequence it's in. So yeah, that's his percentage, and I really like this. I like this.
That's good that we have that kind of value in his goal scoring percentage. Just looking at him straight. Because he's priced at plus 140, which is right about 41.3, give or take some hundredths of a percent. So we're looking at about 15% value in him to score, and I think that to straight play it is a good play as well. It's not an official play, but it's one that the base winner is going to make. So that's the parlay. And speaking of the base winners' personal plays, we're gonna throw in a couple of ideas for you. And this is one of the things that if I can get Riley to agree with me, and I think that he likes to bet. We're gonna start looking at just on the podcast, just for unofficial plays, the under or over half a goal. So either the one team to score or not to score. So one of the beauties of the model is we're able to actually get a percentage of this bet occurring or not occurring, this over half a goal. And so I narrowed it down before the podcast, and I said, let's take a look at some of these games. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come up with the team to score over the half goal that we think has value, and we're going to give you guys one that's under the half goal that we think has value. So the first game we're going to look at is this Man City-Watford game. And we're still pretty, even after last week's tie, and I think last week's tie really kind of flattered Watford in the advanced analytics, but we're showing that this team has about a 40% chance. What's the exact percentage, Riley?
39%, 39.8 exactly to score 0.
Okay, so they're priced up right now. You can get them at minus 112 to go over that half goal. So 60% is about minus 150. So you're looking at that kind of value. It's a really good play. You're looking at about a 7% value, and you can get the play at Heritage. Has a new. This is really good if you guys like to bet soccer, and you unfortunately are living in the United States, because there's so many. At least at this point, there's so many restrictions on what sports books you can use. But if you guys live in the United States, you can do it at Heritage. If you don't live in the United States, you can probably bet it at a multiple. There are multiple sources you can bet it at. But you can bet the over the half goal or the under the half goal at Heritage under the Soccer Plus. That's where you will find it. So that's the first play, and then we go to the next play is the under. So this is like going to keep you on. It's like a house of cards. You'll be building, and hopefully the thing won't fall down. But we found one. This is the best play to make because nobody wants to play it because it's a painful play to make. These unders as a rule, and that's why we've been so successful over the years, particularly in baseball playing the unders. But Mike's had a lot of success playing first half unders in NFL, and it's kind of the direction that we lean to. And it's really good for this week because we have 2 unders in EPL as a company. But anyway, the Crystal Palace under, they are priced to – so tell me what they're priced to the 0 is, Riley.
So we have them at 42.8% at plus 134 to hit 0.
To hit 0.
0 goals, yeah.
So this one's good as well. They're at plus 172 to not score. So plus 172, about 37%. So while it's not as big as the Watford disadvantage, still get about 5% on it. And you can just root for nothing to happen. That's the funnest thing that we do here at Clear Data Sports.
Those are the type of games that I would never watch them. I would just, keep glancing at the scoreboard every so often, and just every time I see the 0-0, I'm like, let's go, let's keep it going,
It's satisfying. It is.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. And by the way, I did want to ask this. So for the members in the Slack channel too, if you want me to include like a column on this overview sheet, just purely for over +5 or under +5 for a team total, let me know. I don't think those will be official plays at any point, maybe potentially in the future. But yeah, for the members, because you'll be able to see the actual numbers for the team totals for every single game. Podcast non-members, you can see them right here. You have CDSA projected goals for the team totals. But based on that, we get to derive that percentage that we come to for that either over +5 or under +5 team total. So let me know if you want that added in, and you guys will actually use that. Otherwise, I guess Mark and I will just continue to go over these every so often in the podcast.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, Riley. But I personally really enjoy playing him. It's a simple bet. It's something that you can kind of narrow down per team, and there's value in it. So that's the beauty of having a model that's this deep, is you can look at some of the derivative markets and see where you can get an edge. I know we have a guy. He's really good at doing this. The strikeout props in baseball, and he's just having a hell of a year. And that's just something that I built out of the model. So it's really kind of cool to see the versatility of building a model and how you can use them and so anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So let's recap the plays.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go with Southampton, and they are +116, and we are going to risk 0.34 units on that, and it's +106. I'm having.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can help you read. I can help you read them if you want.
I'm trying to. I just like you do for your granddad. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I opened it up. So people will be they'll get fired up. Hey, wait on, my base winner, you're giving yourself 10 points on that. Okay, Southampton. Let's rephrase it. Southampton on the three-way +106.
Yep.
And we're risking 0.94 units on that one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going Man United. We're going Man United on the three-way at +113. We're risking 0.88 units for that. Those are the two official podcast plays. And then we're going to go with Rashford, United over 2.5, and United to win on the three-headed parlay. And then a couple bonus plays, Watford to score over a half goal, and Crystal Palace to not do a damn thing in their game. And that would be nice to see.
Yeah, no, very satisfying. Hope you guys have a good weekend here. That's going to be all for me, but otherwise I'll be back with the newsletters. And like I said, let me know if you'd be interested in me adding that column in, because realistically that's something that would take about 5-10 minutes. So if that's something you guys would use, let me know.
Well, great job, Riley. You guys, appreciate you listening. I hope all your bets cash. We're going to have a lot of NFL. The live betting was hot last week. Hope Mike can keep doing that. And, of course, the baseball season coming down. We got a couple of season win totals that are – I'm going to do a little podcast tomorrow, talk about where we are on those. But basically, we're rooting against the Chicago teams, and we're rooting for the Nationals. And, well, let's get this EPL. Let's get this week. I love some of the plays that I saw. I love these two podcast plays, and let's get them cashed at the window, guys. Thanks again. We'll be back next week.